Yay, finally. It's been like, I don't know, maybe almost 3 weeks since I posted a video. Me that wants to like post at least 2 videos a week or something. I want to share with you some of the craziness going on in my life right now as I unfold and really choose to do the work to expand into the expression I'm coming to bring into this world. There is so much, not chaos, but there's so much happening around me that is completely destructuring the life that I had in order to make room for the life that I'm building, that I wanted to just take the time to talk about that a little bit with you today, because this is also happening at a global level and maybe even like some trippy galactic level as well. Not maybe, it's kind of like all, it's all related. Like, so, humans have a tendency to really, really want to protect other people and not hurt them. And we have defense structures in place within us that as soon as someone does something that our defense structure doesn't like, it feels like we're being hurt. So I want you to think about this for a second. So this means that you have defense structures in you that anytime someone doesn't do what you want them to do, you feel like they're hurting you. And here we are at this super important moment in time, in space and time, where we need to topple down the existing structures and actually start evolving our survival brain and our way of processing how we need to be safe. That creates for some serious friction. And I really, really want to take the time to talk a little bit about this. We have this tendency, humans, we don't want to hurt other people. And like, of course we don't want to hurt people, like, unless we're like full on malicious beings that enjoy doing that. No one wants to hurt anyone, really. We tend to hurt people when we're hurt. Hurt people. That's very much a reality. And by the way, when someone is hurting you, I want you to understand something really, really important. What they are trying to do at that moment, they are seeking connection. They don't know how to get out of the pain that they're in, so they're trying to bring you with them in it, so they're not alone. As you become aware of that, you can start consciously choosing what you're going to do with that and whether or not you accept to do that. Because in truth, in very, very, very deep and profound truth, if you go down in someone's pain hole with them so that they're not alone, you are not only hurting them, but you are also hurting yourself. You are not helping them at all by doing that. You are, indirectly letting them know that they don't have to become responsible for themselves. They don't have to find their way out of that hole. That you will go down there with them and suffer with them. And even if we're willing to admit it, some of us that have that little savior martyr thing going, if we could, we would suffer for them. And somehow that would make us good people that don't hurt others. Oh my God. It's such a convoluted thing, and we are very much we're in the grips of that right now as we are there is this momentum to awake and to undo the structures that we're trapped in that is going through us more and more. It's like it's coming down galactically on us. It's coming up from the earth. That's like, it's time to do this. Gaia is actually shifting from the plexus into the heart space. And that's what we're being asked to do. We're all being asked to do that. We're all being asked to do that. And that's a hard thing to do. Because if you are to shift into your heart, and I'm not talking about the heart where you're like lovey-dovey with everyone and you take care of everyone's needs and, you know, unicorns and rainbows and fairies and I don't know what else. We're talking about real love. The love that is able to stand by someone while they suffer and hold a space that allows them to find their way out of it. That's not the same thing as going down in the hole with them. Compassion is the ability to hold a space for someone without that meaning that you are toppling yourself down, and without that meaning that you are legitimizing that they can't help themselves. We don't realize that that's what we're doing when we do that. But most of the time when we're helping someone, what we're really doing is preventing them from becoming responsible for themselves. And there we are thinking, oh, I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to hurt them. You are hurting them by doing that. You are hurting their ability to start seeing themselves as capable of healing. You are hurting their ability to know who they truly are as you look at them as, you know, kind of helpless victims. That's what you're sending them. You're sending them, oh, poor you. Are we really helping someone when we're doing that? Most of what we think hurts people is actually flaring up their defense structures. And these defense structures that they are stuck in are what is hurting them, not you. You know, you're like the little switch and it turns on a light bulb. Are you the cause of that light bulb existing? Because you flipped the switch? No, you're not. And if we are to heal and go through these, let's just say the light bulbs are defense structures, they need to get lit up. We need to be aware of them. And we need to consciously go through them. These are all super key pieces of what we're going through right now. So I'd like to invite you to flip over, just kind of like flip that right over, kind of quantum leap into another way of looking at things, where instead of staying stuck in that place where you are in your defense structures, you're trying to protect yourself in your defense structures, and you're trying to protect the other person in their defense structures by not flaring them up, that what you're really doing when you're doing that is you are hurting both of you. You are hurting yourself and you are hurting the other by not challenging them to grow, by not challenging yourself to grow. I don't know about you, but I like challenges. The question is, can you handle the consequences? Can you be responsible? And I'm not talking about being responsible for their pain. I'm talking about your ability to respond. Are you able to respond to life in front of you, to defense structures that flare up? Or will you remain stuck in reactions? Will you remain in the space where you are as well a victim of your defense structures? Or will you step up and start responding? Life is sending you all these opportunities, and it's up to you to decide what you're going to do with them. Are you going to keep protecting people from waking up and feeling the pain that they need to transcend to heal? Or will you truly become a light ally and participate to this process that we're in? It's an ascension process and it's not going to slow down. So you have two options. You're either going to like contract more and more and more and more and more, and have a tiny little life where you feel somewhat safe, as long as no one doesn't trigger you, or will you breathe through these structures you're in? Will you decide that it's time to truly heal and discover what true freedom is? You know, freedom is when you are not stuck in reaction. Freedom is when you are able to respond to what is in front of you, to what is in you, to what is between you and someone else. To respond. Response ability, the ability to respond. I challenge you to truly become responsible and to stop playing this victim game that we've been playing for far too long, and realize that we are hurting each other if we continue to protect each other's comfort zones. Change is not comfortable. Undoing structures that keep us trapped is not necessarily a fun process. It can be. It can be, don't get me wrong. It can be, but sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it hurts. But what hurts more? Staying stuck in a prison? Keeping other people stuck in the prison of their pain? Or just going through the birthing pains and getting it over with already? They both hurt. One leads to more pain, and one actually leads to freedom and joy, to what I like to call joyful soul expansion. So I know I can talk for way too long, so I just want to do a very short process with you. I want you to consider, what are you allowing in the spaces? What are you allowing in the spaces between you and your thoughts, between you and your emotions, between you and others? What are you allowing to feed these spaces? Like the heart space has multiple layers. It's got chambers. It's got a whole bunch of trippy stuff that we can explore. But fundamentally, deep in the core of your heart is your sacred heart. Untouchable, could never be hurt. It is your pure God connection. It's like God's heart in your heart. It is the pulse of all of life wanting to expand. And then we've got like this other layer around the heart. Like for me, it's like if I compare it with a cell, it looks something like the nucleus of the cell would be the sacred heart. And then the membrane of the cell would be what I call the emotional heart. This is where we have wounds and grief and, sorrow and longings and a bunch of different emotions. As we want to connect more and more deeply with our sacred hearts, we need to go through the emotional heart. The emotional heart needs to be, I don't want to say cleansed because it's not dirty. It needs to be purified of the painful emotions that it holds, that most of them are based on the stories in your head and your defense structures reacting to these stories in your head. They're not even really about the actual events most of the time, but what you made them mean and how your defense structure is reacting to what you made them mean. So I just want to take like 5 minutes of just us practicing breathing into the sacred heart. Like, let's stick to this metaphor of the cell. And it's like the sacred heart space is the nucleus of that cell. And I want you to just use this little visual. Like all of a sudden, you can take 3 steps back into your heart. Like you were standing in front of your heart, and you could take 1 step back, another step back, and a 3rd step back. And just kind of land into that core of the cell, the center of your sacred heart. There is deep, deep silence here. So full of life. So full of like the purest love. A love hard to understand for the ego. A love that is able to watch someone suffer and know that the highest thing it can do is to allow them to go through that without interfering. That's true love. That is the true love. That is how we stop hurting others and ourselves. We go through the pain and we hold ourselves at the same time in that space. So just like you can, every time you breathe, every time you inhale, it's like you're going deeper, 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 deeper into the center of your sacred heart. Take just a couple of seconds, like send down a grounding cord all the way to the core of the earth from your heart, and your ascension beam up through the crown, up to source, outside of time and space, way beyond this place. And just breathe into that sacred heart. Breathe out, just allow yourself to feel the peace there. It is such a deep peace. It's the kind of peace in which you can bring every single thing that you think is tormenting you and put it there and realize that it's nothing. Compared to the power of your sacred heart, it's nothing. They are stories. They are reactions. Every single time you inhale, it's like you can go deeper. It's like there's no end to the depths of your sacred heart space. And start having a little bit of fun as you're inhaling and going deeper. When you exhale, it's like the rays of a sun, 360 degrees around you. 360 degrees. And start allowing these rays to grow. You inhale into the core of your heart. You exhale, you allow the rays of your spiritual heart to grow and expand. And all we want to do is just offer some of that frequency, offer some of those rays to the emotional heart, to that kind of energetic membrane layer where all the emotions are. All the hurts, the grief, the sorrow, even the anger, the resentment. You inhale into the core of your heart. You exhale, you let the rays grow. I was doing a session with a client this morning, and as we were doing that, we started working with twin flames. We were working with like a teal flame and a violet flame, with silver linings and gold dust, and maybe even little turquoise spirals, and whatever other colors want to come play with you right now. Maybe burnt orange, maybe emerald green, sapphire blue. Let all these colors mix into the sacred heart. And every time you inhale, You're making these colors brighter and brighter and brighter into the core of your sacred heart. And every time you exhale, the rays come out. It's almost like spirals. The rays come out. And they just offer. They offer that frequency to the emotional layer of the heart. We're not trying to tell the heart to get rid of anything. We're not trying to tell your emotions that there's something wrong with them and they need to change. We're just letting them know we're here and there is a much sweeter nectar, a much sweeter elixir that they could drink than the one generated by the thoughts and the protective structures. Just stay with that a little bit. Inhale into the core of your heart. Exhale, beam that light, beam these rays all through the emotional layer of the heart and expand it more. Each time you expand it more. Inhale into the core, exhale. Allow it to go beyond your chest. Allow these rays to start getting bigger and bigger and expanding more and more, extending more and more. Let these rays find any place in your energy bodies that need a little bit of true love. Not like, oh, let me take that away from you. Let me fix that for you. Just like, hey, you're awesome. You can do this. This is who we really are. These are just things you're carrying. So let these rays do nothing else than remind you. Let them be a reminder. And even further. Even further. Come on, we can do this. We can all stand together and start beaming the love frequency of our sacred hearts, the heart of our soul. Let's be allies. Let's serve ascension together. Inhale deep into your sacred heart. Exhale, offer that wonderful, wonderful food to your emotional heart, to your energy bodies, to all the fear structures in the world, to all of humanity. Oof. Feel it on my skin. Let that sacred heart vibration ooze out of you, ooze out of every single pore of your skin. It's almost like every pore of your skin can have like a little ray of the sacred heart space light. That multicolored, multidimensional light of who you truly are. Let that be what you put in the spaces in you. In the spaces in you, in the spaces between your thoughts, in the spaces between your emotions, in your spaces between you and others. Let that be what you put in that space. That beautiful light of who you truly are. That is how we will truly stop hurting each other and hurting ourselves. I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad to be back. I've gone through some very, very intense transformations in the last couple of weeks, including the death of my 9-year partner, spiritual partner and life partner that took his own life. What do you choose to put in the spaces? Do you put love or do you put fear? I choose to put love. If you choose that too, then let's be allies. If you want to choose that but you don't know how, then reach out. I can help you learn how to do it. Only you can do it. It doesn't mean you can't have someone that offers you guidance. And that's not the same as helping in the sense of like doing it for you. I won't do it for you. I'll do it with you. But in the end, this is all about you doing it for you. Oh, I'm just so glad. Oh, I missed you. I hope you have an awesome day. And please breathe with your sacred heart all the time if you can. It's the most yummy food for your emotional heart. And when it really, really happens, when it's really, really deep, it'll often happen that you'll start crying and have emotions. And then our head gets like all attached in there. And it's like, what's really going on is the frequency of your spiritual heart is releasing the grief and the emotions held by your emotional heart. Let it go. Let it happen. Let it be. All right. I could keep staring at you, but thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of my little YouTube experience of sharing my being with the world. And do reach out if I can be of service and assistance to you in any way whatsoever. I'm right here. I love what I do, and I love being your joyful soul expansion companion. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel and all that funky stuff I'm supposed to say. Bye.